Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the unforgiving peaks of the Swiss Alps, swallowed by an endless swirling white. Imagine the piercing cold, the treacherous silence, where one wrong step means vanishing beneath tons of snow. Now envision a beacon of hope, a furry giant with eyes full of unwavering purpose, defying death itself. This is the legend of Barry the Saint Bernard, the four-legged hero whose paw prints etched an eternal tale of courage and love into the very heart of the mountains. A story that reminds us, even in the deadliest silence, a heartbeat can save a life. The monastery's silent guardians, for centuries perched high above the treacherous Great St. Bernard Pass, stood a sanctuary unlike any other, the Great St. Bernard Monastery. It wasn't just a place of prayer, it was a fortress against the untamed wilderness, a last resort for travelers lost to the brutal blizzards and hidden crevasses. The Augustine monks who resided there dedicated their lives to saving souls, but they had extraordinary partners in their mission. Not men, but magnificent dogs, the noble Saint Bernard. In the year 1800, amidst the howling winds and the rhythmic toll of the monastery bells, a tiny life began. A puppy with a thick coat, intelligent eyes, and an indomitable spirit, Barry. From his first breath, Barry's destiny was intertwined with the snow and the struggle for survival. He wasn't trained for leisure, he was forged for rescue. Every day he learned the critical skills, how to sniff out a faint human scent beneath feet of snow, how to navigate the treacherous icy paths, and crucially, how to bring warmth back to bodies stolen by the cold. A lifeline in the storm. The Great St. Bernard Pass offered no quarter. Sudden blizzards could engulf an entire caravan in minutes. Avalanches roared down mountainsides, burying everything in their path. Hundreds perished, lost forever to the frigid embrace of the Alps. This was the stage where Barry stepped into the spotlight, time and again. Imagine this, a raging winter storm, a blinding whiteout, winds shriek like banshees, erasing all visibility. A group of travelers, their faces numb with frostbite, collapse, hope draining with every frozen breath, their strength gone, their voices swallowed by the gale. But then, through the swirling chaos, a colossal, unwavering silhouette emerges. It's Barry, his thick snow-resistant fur, his powerful legs pounding through drifts, and the gentle clink of the small bell on his collar, a sound that meant salvation. Barry wasn't just a search dog, he was a living, breathing lifeline. When he found a victim, there was no hesitation. He wouldn't simply bark, he would gently lie across their frozen body, sharing his warmth, licking their face to stir consciousness back into their numb limbs. He'd nudge a small basket, filled with restorative brandy and bread, a desperate offering of life. Barry would stay, barking a thunderous plea for the monks to follow, or, if the victim still had a flicker of strength, he would lead them, step by agonizing step, back to the monastery's comforting glow. For 12 grueling years, Barry performed countless rescues. Legend claims he saved over 40 lives. That's not just a number, it's 40 souls pulled back from the brink, 40 miracles woven by a single devoted dog. Barry never gave up, no matter how brutal the conditions, no matter how deep the snow. He understood, instinctively, that somewhere out there, a human life hung by a thread. The boy and the mountain's embrace. Among his countless acts of heroism, one story echoes through time, a testament to Barry's profound empathy. It was a treacherous afternoon, a sudden blizzard unleashing its fury. Barry led the search party, pushing through the blinding white. After hours of desperate searching, as darkness descended and hope dwindled, Barry abruptly stopped. He began to dig furiously, not into a drift, but into a narrow snow-filled crevasse. And there, buried beneath layers of ice and snow, lay a small boy, barely conscious, consumed by hypothermia. He'd been separated from his parents, left alone to face the mountain's icy embrace. Barry didn't drag him out. He knew the boy was too fragile. Instead, Barry did the most extraordinary thing. He lay directly over the child, his massive body shielding him from the wind, his warm breath steaming, his gentle licks rousing the boy's fading senses. Slowly the boy's eyes fluttered open, weakly gazing up at the magnificent creature shielding him. Then, with a tenderness that defied his size, Barry performed the impossible. He gently nudged the boy onto his back. Step by careful step, Barry began the agonizing ascent, carrying the child through the treacherous, snow-choked paths, across slippery ice sheets. It was a race against the mountain, against death itself. Every breath, every laborious step Barry took was a silent vow to save that fragile life. And finally, after an arduous journey, Barry delivered the boy safely to the monastery, snatching him from the very jaws of oblivion, an undying legacy. When age finally caught up with him, after more than a decade of relentless service, Barry was brought to Bern, Switzerland, to live out his golden years in peace. He passed away in 1814, but his spirit, his legacy, never did. To honor his unparalleled contributions, Barry's body was preserved and stands proudly displayed at the Natural History Museum of Bern. He is not merely an exhibit, he is a living monument to courage, to boundless compassion. Barry was more than just a dog. He became a legend forever shaping the image of the Saint Bernard breed as true heroes of the snow. Every time we see a Saint Bernard, our hearts instinctively remember Barry, the furry giant, who brought warmth and hope to the desperate, snatching lives from the chilling grip of the Alps. A statue of Barry stands sentinel at the historic monastery, a timeless reminder: some heroes don't need words. They act with their whole hearts, leaving paw prints of courage across the landscape, proving that sometimes our greatest saviors are our most loyal, four-legged friends.